If I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself.
About 7 years ago, late in the PS3 lifecycle, Naughty Dog, a studio that had become the benchmark in Sony first-party games due to the heights reached by the Uncharted series, introduced us to a new IP that caught everyone's attention due to its gruesome world, beloved characters, and story. The Last of Us is considered by some one of their best work, which means the bar was already high coming into part 2. So, was Naughty Dog able to rise over it and smash it to pieces? Let's find out. Before moving on, let me tell you that most of this review is spoiler free, however there will be a warning once we get into spoiler territory. You can also refer to the video description to know the specific timestamps for when it happens. The Last of Us Part 2 picks up 5 years after the original, where Joel and Ellie have been living all this time in peace at the Jackson community held by Joel's brother Tommy and his wife Maria. However, tragedy would soon be knocking their door, and this sends Ellie on a spiral of revenge as she takes on the ones responsible. Along with her friend Dina, she travels to Seattle in search of the military group called the WLF or Wolves, and the events are told in the span of 3 days that it takes Ellie to fulfill her revenge while also taking on the numerous amounts of threats that go from new types of infected to the Scars or Seraphites, a cult type group that is in conflict with the WLF and anyone who trespasses on their territory. At the end of each day, you'll also get flashbacks that complement the 5-year gap since the end of the last game, and while they interrupt the pacing, it's also here where it shines with its best moments.
And that's our cue.
I commend Naughty Dog for taking some creative risks here, and while some of the stitches that put together this amazing story can be argued about making sense or not, by the end of it all, it completely made his statement about how far and brutal are you willing to go for love, while masking everything under a revenge tale. But Ellie's journey is only half of this story, and we'll go full into what that means in a moment.
I made her talk.
Gameplay department is where the game is a little bit conservative, keeping what worked on part 1 while removing some of its annoyances, like looking for pallets for Ellie to cross bodies of water. Inventory crafting and upgrade systems also work mostly the same, although this time you are rewarded more for exploring around with safe puzzles that, while not particularly hard, are fun to solve, and training manuals you require to find for unlocking new abilities like improving your hearing, faster crafting, or improving the amount of ammo you will get for supplies.
Pretty sure we're here.
Progressing through the game means going through linear open-ended areas as you take or avoid enemies and then finding a way around a blockade through cracks on buildings or jumping through open windows as Ellie, being more agile, can jump to reach certain sections. The game also has an open area similar to that of Uncharted Lost Legacy, and while it rewards exploration with resources, collectibles, and environmental storytelling, this is also where the game's pacing is affected after the opening segment. Confrontations are what keep you on your toes, whether you go all guns blazing performing jump kills on enemies and insane finishers, or with a stealth approach, which by the way is enhanced as you can now also crawl. Enemy AI has been improved and they quickly put pressure on you once they know your location, crying for the names of their fallen comrades, although they are not foolproof and you will certainly find some spots. For me, these sections shine the most when you must fight both infected and humans, as you can pit them to your advantage, which is a shame there aren't more of.
It's over!
So now we go into a little bit more details, but beware, spoilers are coming. If you want to avoid them and continue watching the end of this review, you can do so by skipping to the indicated time or clicking on the timestamp on the description. Now let's rewind back to the beginning.
You're supposed to take her to the fireflies and walk away.
Even if only present for a few sections, Joel is the core of this game. It's his decision from part 1 that acts as the catalyst for all the events that unravel here early on and all the way through the end. This is not only Ellie's story but also of a new character named Abby, and one that just as the game starts closes her journey of revenge by killing the guy that took away someone she loved, and that happens to be the most beloved characters in the series, thus opening Ellie's journey of revenge to get payback in Seattle. Fast forward after all the events from Ellie's side and you take control of Abby for another complete 3-day run which contrasts everything you have done from another perspective and one that challenges the player to feel remorse for their actions. Having completed the purpose she has been committed to for the past 5 years and finding out there was no closure for her, Abby now takes a redemption arc whose purpose is to protect 2 Seraphites that saved her life, even if that means going against her own group.
Yeah,
Why does your yeah sound like a no?
it's by accident.
This character switcheroo did not work for me at the beginning as she was not as likable as other characters in the series, and same criticism about little things not making sense here and there apply. But at the end of it all, it's through her actions while helping Yara and Lev that you are able to empathize with her just towards the end of the game, making me feel remorse for trying to achieve Ellie's end goal, and it makes everything come full circle very nicely. Playing as Abby works almost the same as Ellie with 2 key differences. The first one being that she handles more quote-unquote military weapons, which I enjoyed even more than Ellie's arsenal, pipe bombs, crossbow, hunting pistols, and more. And the second is in the skills available for each character. Ellie focuses more on stealth and survival, while Abby goes more towards action and combat, giving her for example a momentum-based skill that allows to one-hit kill enemies and the popular shifts from the first game. While these work mostly fine, they end up being like subtle differences which made me wish there would have been a few more abilities that lean into this marked difference between them or allowed me to further customize this my way. Naughty Dog flexes his muscle on the technical department, delivering one of the most beautiful looking games on the PlayStation 4. Environments so incredibly detailed that can almost talk about what happened in these areas, and coupled with collectible files, albeit too many of these, that let you know the background of the fights for survival in Seattle, and let's not forget about the physics and animations that will bring so much satisfaction every time you break a glass window or each time you upgrade a weapon, for example. Put this together with the masterful pieces from returning composer Gustavo Santaolalla and you got the recipe for something special.
Talking away, I don't know what I'm to say, I'll say it anyway.
At the heart of it all is the amazing characters. Sure, not all of them are that interesting, or there are a few you expect to take more spotlight in the story, but the core cast delivered top-notch performances that along with the insane facial expressions help bring every aspect of them to life. From being angry while killing an enemy to moments of sadness throughout the story. This not only works for the main characters but regular enemies as well. I've never felt so disgusted by killing an enemy on a game like this. The game's so brutal and visceral in a way that will make you feel uncomfortable, especially when facing the dogs. And speaking of enemies, the threat that brought society to its knees is there to surprise you at every corner with new enemies like shamblers, or really scary sections with the stalkers, hordes of runners, or the very deadly clickers with awesomely disgusting designs that highlight the progress of their fungi infection. Another thing this game shines is on the number of accessibility options that it gives to players. If you're looking to customize your difficulty settings to just sit back and relax, or if you're looking to go for a challenge, you can do either, selecting from enemy AI, friendly AI, stealth gameplay, amount of resources, and so on. But it doesn't stop there, since it also has colorblind modes, completely remappable controls, and a massive amount of options that will make it easier for disabled gamers to join in on the fun, and hopefully becoming a standard on the industry one day. My main gripe in regards to presentation would be the length. I think there are some corners that could have been taken in favor of a tighter narrative without making it go for the 30 hours or so that it will take you to complete the game. I've never thought I would ever complain about a single-player linear game being too long until The Last of Us Part 2. Not that I was angry about it by the end because almost every piece fits nicely into the overall experience, but kind of exhausted in the way it was paced.
Scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate our kiss from last night?
The Last of Us Part 2 may not be a jack of all trades. The gameplay, while improved upon the first one, feels still a little bit simple at times, and the story, while good, also has some moments that will defy your suspension of disbelief. There are amazing characters as you would expect from a Naughty Dog game, but also some you may not resonate with or you may expect more from. And it probably could have shaved some playable sections in favor of a tighter narrative. However, in the end, it's the sum of all these elements, whether flawed or not, that work together in such a unique way to drive you, the player, through a storm of emotions and successfully becoming a master in the statement that it's a story of love and revenge is set out to prove right from the beginning. If you enjoyed this review and want to check the game in action, I recommend you watch some of my gameplay episodes. And for more games with infected people trying to kill you, check out my review on Resident Evil 3. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Joseph, this has been a Hype for Games review, and let's get hype!